Consider this situation described below. Meredith lives 24 blocks from her friend's house. If she traveled 1 block every minute, how many minutes would it take her to reach her friend's house? And then a follow-up, if she traveled 2 blocks every minute, um, how long would it take her there? Show how you calculated each answer. So let's start. I'm going to slide this up a little bit here, and we'll start. This is part A. One of the things that we know is that there's a relationship between distance traveled, rate traveled, and time, and that is that the distance traveled equals the rate at which you're traveling times the amount of time that you're traveling. So in each of these cases, right, for the first one, we know that the distance traveled is 24 blocks, and we know that her speed is initially 1 block per minute. And what we're asked to find is how much time does it take. So that's a pretty straightforward question for A, right? So it's 24 equals 1 times t. If I divide both sides by 1, I get that t would equal 24 minutes. And then the follow-up to that is 24 equals 2 times t. And if I solve for t there, right, t is going to equal 12 minutes. Okay, for part B, it says copy and complete the table below. Represent the amount of time it would take Meredith to get to her friend's house if she traveled at the different rates given. So one of the things I want to write down here is this fact that each time I'm going to be solving for t, and I know that the time, and if I look at this up here, time is going to equal distance divided by rate. So in this problem, we're going to be given different rates, and the distance is always going to be 24 blocks. So we're basically going to be taking 24 and dividing it by the different rates. So here's the table for B. This is a copy of the table that's up above. And again, if she's traveling at a rate of, and these numbers right here up here are all the rates. If she's traveling at a rate of 1 block per minute, we know that it'll take her 24 minutes. 2 blocks per minute, 24 divided by 2 is 12. 24 divided by 3 is 8 minutes. 24 divided by 4 is 6 minutes. 24 divided by 6 is 4 minutes. 24 divided by 8, it would take 3 minutes. 24 divided by 10 would be 2.4 minutes. 24 divided by 12, it would take exactly 2 minutes. And finally, if she was traveling at a rate of 24 blocks per minute, it would only take her 1 minute to travel 24 blocks. So that's that table. Okay, let's see what question C asks. C says, what happens to the time it takes to get her to her friend's house as Meredith's speed increases? Oh, that's pretty straightforward. C, as her speed increases, it takes her less time to travel the 24 blocks because she's going faster, and the distance isn't changing, right? If for some reason her friend, or if it was a different friend that lived further away, it would be different. But because this distance is being held constant as I increase the speed, I'm just decreasing the amount of time that it'll take to get there. And then finally for D, it says, is this a proportional relationship? And actually, it is not. And one of the things I know and I always consider is this point 0, 0 has to make sense in order for a relationship to be proportional. And that would mean that if she was, for example, I'll just write at the end of here, if she was traveling at a speed 0, it would take her no time to get to her friend's house. And that clearly doesn't make sense, right? If you're traveling at a speed of 0 blocks per minute, and you have to travel 24 blocks, you're never going to get there. It's going to take an infinite amount of time. So this is not a proportional relationship because it doesn't go through 0, 0. So I just wrote that down. This is not proportional because it does not go through the origin, through 0, 0.